after hour. And anytime you see me with this, definitely. Right here at the marketplace, it's class time. And class is on session. I am the substitute teacher. Joining us this evening is someone who understands our topic tonight very, very well. Registering a trademark. Now, for example, today, the Anguka Nayo, you probably know that song, Anguka Nayo. That particular song crew went to the Kenya Industrial Property Institute to do what? To register the patent and have a trademark for that particular song. It was a whole colorful event, and now that definitely sparks up the whole conversation of, as a brand, do you even need a trademark? That is what we're going to be getting into this evening. And joining us for that definitely is Elvine Apiyo. She is the Assistant Registrar at the Kenya Industrial Property Institute. Karibu sana. Thank you. We have here a whole list of some forms here. She'll be walking us through what actually you need to know about all this. But first off, I'll let you tell us, what is a trademark?
Well, a trademark is basically a sign that distinguishes one enterprise, the goods or services of one enterprise from another. Mm-hmm. Simply said, we say that it's a batch of origin. You're able to look at a product or a service and quickly denote where it comes from, based on the sign. Some of us knows it. We know it loosely as a logo. Okay. We call them devices. Right. So they can be either together with a logo or with just words. Okay. Yes. Right. Yeah.
So, for example, and this whole session, we're going to craft a hypothetical brand, and we're going to walk through it. So, my name is Stanley Nyaringita. So, I'm going to use Nyaringita as the logo, for example. Okay. And I want to have a pencil written Nyaringita as well. So, I'd love you to walk me through, and to the many viewers watching us this evening who have certain kind of ideas that they really want to implement, but they are wondering, how do I come up with, I have the idea, but then how do I make sure no one steals? Because I get that is what you're telling us, yes, that you have a unique logo.
Yes.
So where do I start?
So, well, for trademarks, as we've called them, they are marks that are used in the marketplace, and that's why we say for trade. Yes. So the first call of where you start is when you come to the Kenya Industrial Property Institute. We are charged with the mandate to register industrial property. So industrial property includes trademarks. Right. So the first step is to do a search. Right. So we want to check, and we have to note that for trademarks, we check against goods or services. So, for instance, I thought you were going to use TV47, but
well, okay,
that's also a trademark.
Yes, we can also go that route.
We can use Nyaringita, is it, for the pencil. Right. So for instance, you've come with a drawing of a pencil, probably, and the name Nyaringita. So we start with the search, and we'll ask the person making the request. So it's a very simple search form. Okay. So it's a request to tell us the status, whether there is any other trademark. So yours is for purposes of registration, but this form, we also use it when someone else wants to inquire whether the trademark Nyaringita has been registered. Right. So
probably, actually, we could start with that because we have, it's written form TM27.
TM27, yes.
That's the correct one?
Yes.
Yes, so you could kindly help us. Yes, could kindly help us bit by bit in the whole process of just understanding. I, as Nyaringita, want to have a pencil branded with my name.
Yes.
What do I need to know on this?
So this is form. So TM is an abbreviation for trademark. Okay, right. So we have them in numbers. So it's 27, sorry.
Right, just tap again.
So I tap again.
Yes, I hope it will...
So this is also an innovation that we also register. Right. For the tapping of the screen. Maximize it, yes. Yes, so request for search, this is under Rule 114, so we don't need to stress ourselves with that. So it's application for preliminary advice. So the registrar is giving you advice as to whether this trademark is available. So the name of the person making the request. Right. So this is, it could be Stanley Nyaringita asking. And so you give us an address and a telephone number. Right. I kindly would request you to speak a little bit audibly. Oh, sorry.
Yes, yes.
So the name of the person making the request.
Yes, yes.
I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, okay.
So the address. So this is basically PO box number. So we want to know who is making the request, who is the address, the email.
Okay.
This is a feature that we've added because of technology now.
Right.
In our older forms, we didn't have that. So there's the mobile number as well, and your telephone number if you have an office number.
Okay.
So basically for us, someone else could be making the request, but someone else is looking to own the mark. So the trademark, as we said, we need one representation. So there are marks that come as word marks. So for instance, if it's Nyaringita, we would have the name. Maybe you want to write it in special script, because as we've said, this is innovativeness and inventiveness. We are trying to distinguish this trademark from others so that whatever products I want to sell, the pencils, probably HB, I want to distinguish it from those ones. So people could quickly see Nyaringita, probably with your face if you want, or with a pencil, or rather a representation of a pencil with its name, maybe with some colors. So this is represented here, and you can set it out here, or you can even attach it as per what you would want to appear in the certificate when it's registered. So through here, we have, this is a search. We are saying that it will be made in respect of goods and services. As we've said, these are trademarks that are used, as we say, trade in commerce.
Yes.
So there are certain goods or services that you're targeting. And so we have a NIS classification. And this is very easy. All this is available on our website. So you don't need to cram all the classes. We have 45 classes.
35?
45.
45 classes.
45 classes.
Okay.
So each class has a description of goods or services. So you scan through the services. We call it the NIS classes. So certain agreements, when they are signed, this was signed in Nice in France.
Okay.
So we call it after the place where it was signed. So this is an international classification system that KIPI uses so that we can be able to administratively search and see whether there's any other Nyaringita within this class of goods, so that we do not cause confusion in the market. So anything that is either identical, so that means Nyaringita itself, or anything that is similar. So maybe someone has Nyangirita or Nyaringita.
I get that a lot, by the way. Most of my colleagues call me that. But anyway.
Yeah, so that would be confusingly similar in in this instance. So the classes are indicated here. So if it's for class 16 is for stationery, printed matter, whatever instrument we'll use. So for pencils, we'll say the
it falls
goods,
into that.
We'll say the goods, then we'll put the class. So you could want to use the same for your clothing line, for something else. So we have we call it a multiple classification system, meaning I can use it for, say, letterheads or pencils. Then I can also use it for my clothing line. So for clothes is another class. So we charge according to the classification. So the first class of goods is usually 3,000. Then the next one, or rather for the application, it's 4,000. Then the next one, we call it the subsequent class. So it's 1,000 less for a local. If it's a company that is a foreign company, then you'll pay in dollars. So there is the distinction. So either, in law, we either have a natural person applying or a legal entity. So that includes companies. So we check whether the legal entity is either a foreign company or a local company. So that's how we will calculate your fees. So you can have up to the 45 classes if you so wish, and pay accordingly. So each of the subsequent classes will be 1,000 less if you're a local. For dollars are also less but different. Their amounts would not be the same. So it's a bit higher for the...
So even before we get to part two, because I know matters money really touch on most Kenyans. When you mention we charge this particular amount of money, they want to understand, first of all, why are you charging that amount of money? How beneficial is that amount of money that I'm going to remove? If it's 5,000 and pay, how beneficial is it, to me as well? And this is the point that I would like you as a viewer to interact with us as well, even as we continue talk to us on our social media platforms, particularly call in live 0795 045 864 to pigie simu, because this conversation is all about you. Ask all those questions that you have about this whole process of registering for a trademark. So again, for this pencil, for example, that I have here, so you tell us, so 4,000 Kenyan shillings?
The search form is 3,000.
3,000?
3,000
okay.
For the first class.
For the first class?
Yes. So the subsequent class would be less.
So let me jot that down so that I see cumulatively how much...
how much we charge for the whole process.
Yes.
I'll tell you the whole thing. And for a local company, I think it's very affordable because a trademark is registered for 10 years.
Okay.
And as we've said, we give you exclusive rights. Exclusive rights, and that's the rationale for registering your brand or your trademark.
Okay.
It means no one else can use it without your permission.
Right.
So the permission sometimes comes in the form of money. So you can license your brands. You can either sell them out,
right.
you know, so we call them assignments or licensing. This is property. It's intangible property, but it is just transactable as normal property as would have land.
Right.
So what the rationale is, the registrar, it's like a social contract that we have with the public. We give you exclusive rights for a certain period of time, and you can be able to recoup. So we continue to have a vibrant and innovative society, as one of our key mandates is to promote inventiveness and innovativeness.
Yes.
So that we enable creatives, we enable people who are inventing to know that if I come up with a beautiful brand, no one else is able to use it. I can use it and for trademarks, it can be registered in perpetuity, meaning I am able to renew it every 10 years.
Okay.
We have very old trademarks in our register that continue to bloom till today.
So for the search, you've told us 3,000.
3,000.
Right. So
when we, for instance, this is the first step. So
okay.
when we tell you it's available for registration,
yes,
the next step would be to go to the application.
Okay.
So when you go to the application, you file a form called Form TM2. So that one is 4,000. So we're assuming we're doing one class for Nyaringita,
right,
for the pencil. So we will do. So that is 4,000, so that's 7,000.
Okay.
You're a local company. Are you a local company registering? Yes.
Yes, I'm a local company.
So you'll pay in Kenya shillings.
Okay.
So that's 4,000 plus
okay.
3,000, that's 7,000.
Okay.
Then the law requires us to publish before we give you the registration. The assumption is, as I've said, we are giving you exclusive rights.
Yes, yes.
So we have to inform the public what is almost going to the register. So this means everyone, we have a journal on our website, www.kipi.go.ke. It's here. So this journal comes every end of the month, we publish at the end of every month.
Right.
So you're able to see what is about to be registered.
Okay.
So for instance, if your name was Nyaringita and I have Nyangirita, I would be able to oppose and say no. When these pencils come into the market, they're going to cause confusion. So the law says that we have to give, this is a statutory period that is embedded within the law, so it is 60 days. So within the 60 days, you pay for 3,000 shillings for us to be able to publish. Okay. For everyone to be able to see. Competitors are also able to see what is about to come, whether it is going to disrupt their market.
Right.
So this is the whole essence.
Okay.
So when someone objects, a whole different procedure begins. So we start a legal process. So we'll ask you why you're opposing, why you feel it should be opposed, and then we'll make a decision whether the registration should go on or it should not proceed. Okay. So then if we make a decision and you're not satisfied, then you can appeal to the High Court.
All right.
But then if there's within the 60-day period, there's no objection, it means that we will go to registration. So registration is 2,000. So you can see your calculation that you have about 12,000 for 10 years. So if you're to peradventure, you came to the registry today, according to our act, so the international obligations we have, the date of receipt will be today, 12th of February 2020. 2025.
Okay.
So it means if, regardless of the processes, regardless of the 60 days, your date of receipt becomes your date of entitlement of registration. So that becomes the effective date of registration.
Okay.
Then we will calculate 10 years. So you can see the math. So 12 February 2035. So I think commensurate to how much I think we are charging peanuts for 10 years, and we are giving you exclusive rights in the market for you to be able to use the trademark without anyone interfering with it as is the register.
So there's also the whole part 2 of it. So even as we're getting into part 2, I know a number of callers that are going to be coming in and questions that are going to be coming in involve, because we were talking about the pencil here.
Yes.
When someone is thinking, I don't want to have pencils in the market. I want to open a new, let's say, bar, for example.
A bar?
Yes. And people start to be very creative because you're looking at a certain high-end kind of a bar that even the name attracts people as well.
Exactly.
So for such kind of, hospitality, those kind of services, how does that work?
You name anything you'd want to do under the sun. I said we have an international classification system of all goods and services. So all those catering services, whether it's a bar, whether it's hotel accommodation, whatever you'd call it. So we classify it according to what exactly you'd want. And allow me to say that sometimes you can have a broader breadth of description of goods or services. For instance, for the pencil, we can say stationery, so that I'm not limited, to pencils alone.
Yes,
so when I say stationery, I can use it on any other thing apart from pencils. But it exposes you to more objections.
Okay.
So that's the catch.
Right.
So it is just you looking into, and so we have all this classification. If we had enough time, I would be able to show you how we classify. So anything, I believe, under the sun is classified within these 45 classes. And if not, then we'll be able to see what is related to it. Then we will classify it for you. So bar services would also be classified.
All right.
Yes.
So some 2 minutes to 10 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. This conversation continues after this very, very short break, talking about the process of registering a trademark. You are a young person out there, you're very, very innovative, and you want to have your own startup, for example. You want to have your own products out here, but you are trying to think, first of all, what kind of a name do I give this product? And I have the name. Will it be different from others out there? This is your conversation, so talk to us. When you come back after this break, call us live, weka credit sahi, 0795 045 864. You can also talk to us on WhatsApp, 0793 267 279. I'll be sampling your feedback and you'll be learning. See you in a few.